Welcome to the Coffee Run Live. It is episode number 200 and I am so super excited to share a coffee with you and some other awesome things, obviously, that we are going to talk about today. Now, let me know if the construction work over the back fence is ridiculously noisy and I'll go shut some windows. But other than that, hey Jess, happy Friday. So one of the things that I wanted to, I love doing on Fridays is obviously celebrating, not obviously, but super celebrating the week that was. I've had a really great week. I hope you have too. I have given birth to a new program that we'll talk about today called Bold, which is just going to be so much fun. A 14-day deep dive immersion into the fabulousness that is your creativity. So really unleashing that. So I guess that's another really interesting point that I wanted to make in the sense that, hey, Tamara, how's your coffee? Can't wait to hear how you're going with your first ever bulletproof coffee. It's so exciting. Oh, thank you, Jess. Thank you. I've got my high ponytail on and you just don't want to see the back of my head. There is an obscene amount of hairspray in my hair, let's just say that. So what's really interesting is that there's kind of I find, I love this creativity piece, right? I love the fact that we have got the ability, hey Paul, happy Friday, that we've got the ability in this day and age to create, and entrepreneurs do this all the time, we create something out of nothing, right? Thank you, Paul. Happy 200 episodes. Yay. I was chatting to a girlfriend and I think I know that there's probably in excess of 600 or 700 videos out there on the internet that I've done through YouTube and Vimeo and here and everything else. But in terms of the coffee run, it's the 200th episode, which is it's beyond thrilling. So I'm glad that you could share in my excitement about that. What's also really interesting though is that as entrepreneurs, we have the ability to create something out of nothing. Hey Gerda, happy Friday. We've also got the ability to be able to create something out of our thinking, right? So it's one thing to, create a coffee cup. And I decided against the champagne today, just quietly. It's one thing to create a really amazing coffee cup and go and sell that. It's quite clearly a coffee cup. It holds coffee. It's pretty self-explanatory. But really for entrepreneurs, we've got this ability to create something out of nothing, or out of our thinking, out of our experience, out of our methodology. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but there are times where I've kind of gone, oh my God, is the muse going to visit me? Am I going to be able to think of something really amazing to talk about? Am I going to think of something amazing to be able to teach and sell? And, what if I run out of words and things like that? And I had a moment earlier this week where I had some things kind of percolating and it was kind of is it when is it going to come out of me? When is it going to come out of me? So I'm actually celebrating the creative process. I'm also really celebrating, and I'd love to hear what you guys are celebrating as well and what your big achievements have been this week for you. It doesn't have to be big for anybody else. It's just, whatever it is for you. I'm just sharing this over to my personal profile just so that the people might want, all of the people want to join. I don't know why they wouldn't want to be here celebrating. But it's a really, earlier this week, it was just oh gosh, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And when's it going to happen? And it's almost in that kind of releasing that things start to fall into place, even when you're kind of I wonder what it's going to look like. I wonder what it's going to feel like. I wonder, all of these different things that kind of run through our heads. And it got me thinking, I was thinking about what could be a really awesome way to help you today and to have a little bit of fun. And so I thought that I would share a little bit about Not so much. I'll talk about bold shortly, and actually I'll talk a little bit about it now, and then I'll get into some other stuff that I think is going to be super helpful for you, because it ties into this creativity. Now, there are going to be people out there who are not going to understand nor get what it is that you're doing, right? And I think that as coaches, as consultants, as trainers, as the conduits for transformation, you know, for people who are creative, most people out there don't understand what it is that we do or how it is that we do it. Now, we've got the delivery, like they understand the delivery side, right? They understand that we're going to put on an event and we're going to teach, train, and deliver. They understand that we're going to go to your business and help you with whatever it is. They understand that you're going to come up with a fantastical way of being able to build the most amazing flyer or brochure or graphically design something that's freaking fantastic. You know, they understand that they're going to get some time with you, perhaps, right? Thank you, Gerda. Welcome to my lounge room. But what most people don't understand is, actually a lot of us don't even practice, is the creative process of how to market that. And what happens inadvertently is that people can end up in a place where, without meaning to, they revert to safety. They revert to marketing in the way that everybody else does, doing the things in the way that everybody else does, following the rules, so to speak. But who invented the freaking rules in the first place, right? So I was thinking about this as I was making my coffee today, like the third one, just the third one, but bulletproof. So, you know, no dairy, and, you know, this is going to serve me for days to come, I'm pretty sure. But the thing here is that, you know, like somebody made up a rule that a launch process had to go for a certain amount of time. Somebody made up that you have to, when you write a book, you have to market the shit out of it for 12 months. Somebody made up a rule that when you create a program, you keep delivering it over and over and over and over again. Someone made up a rule that you have to sell something reasonably cheapish in order to serve the masses. Someone made up a rule that if you're going to be successful, you have to sell a high ticket model. Somebody on earth made up that there's a rule that you have to have a recurring program, that you have to have recurring income, that you have to have investment properties, that you have to have a Mac, that you have to have a PC, that you have to be engaging, that you have to be fabulous, that you have to be, you know, across all your numbers, that you need to know all the ins and outs of all of your whole entire business, that you've got to be positive all the time, that, you know, fuck me. I'm exhausted just thinking about all the rules. So I was thinking today, what is it that I've most enjoyed over these 200 episodes? What is it that I've most enjoyed about my business since 2010 when I started? You know, what is it that has really fueled me and honestly kept me going when there's been some freaking dark days, right? Right, tomorrow, no wonder you needed 3 coffees. I was thinking about all the freaking rules and the ones that I'm not following, actually. So, you know, the thing is that for me, it's kind of like when I let go of the need to do things in the way, and it's been progressive, right? Because there's different rules that we kind of buy into weirdly at different times. You know, it might be depending on who we're working with. It might be dependent on our financial status at the time. It might depend on the volume of clients we've got at the time. It might depend on what our goals are or how our values might have shifted at the time. And I think for me, that where I've had the most joy, the most fun is when I've just gone, fuck the rules. And that's to me what this week has sort of been looking at. It's been really about enveloping, embodying, and just being freaking bold. Making bold calls, sweeping statements, you know, shouting and cheering from the rooftops the fact that, you know, we've hit a really great milestone. and things like that. So in my head over the years, I'm like, okay, so I've gone and done this, and this is the way that, you know, and it kind of ties into this whole, you know, being a proper business owner thing. You know, if you're a proper business owner, you follow the rules, right? If you're going to be professional, or if you're going to get into corporate, then you've got to follow the rules. If you're going to get an article published in Money Magazine, then you've got to follow the rules. Now, there are some times when we need to follow the rules. I'm not suggesting that we don't just go like, all of the rules can go to hell in a handbasket and fuck it, I'm doing things all my way and, you know, whatever. There are some rules that are required to keep us safe. However, like what I'm thinking about and what I've been talking about, other way around, what I've been thinking about and what I want to talk about is this embodiment and unleashment of your boldness. And what that means for me is that we can be selective with the rules that we throw out the freaking window, right? So for me, it's about being okay with and embracing different things at different times as my intuition guides me, and as my, okay, let's just talk about that for a second. Because, you know, I'm an energy worker. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I do, as well as, you know, doing the marketing and the social media and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. But a big part of what I do is an energetic piece as well. And what I've kind of noticed there was like a kind of like a chunk of time where I was really so driven by certainty that I was just like, right, I'm not going to follow this. I know this is where it's pulling me, but I'm just going to do the things that I know work in the way that I know that they work and things like that. But then, you know, we outgrow that model and we outgrow that way of doing things. Now, I understand and appreciate that sometimes I'm following my intuition can be used as a really shitty reason or excuse for totally self-sabotaging. Hey Kelly, happy Friday. You know, intuition does not give you it's not a get out of jail free card. It is not a get out of action card. It is not oh, you know, let's do this and let's do this. It's not the permission to jump from shiny thing to shiny thing to shiny thing to shiny thing. All right. So for me, where this creativity piece comes in and where trusting my intuition comes in, it's still strategic in the sense that it's like, okay, so, you know, I had this idea a few days ago for this program, and it was literally, I think it was literally 3 days ago. It might even have been Wednesday. I can probably grab out my journal and check the date that I've journaled on it, because it all just sort of flew out of me. And this is the way that it does. So that's me trusting my intuition, right? I didn't have anything to really sell over the last few days, like from Friday, because we did the Hottest Fuck Blitz, which was like that really a rewiring course, which was just like off the charts, amazing. I had so much fun. Don't know if you guys got that message, but it was so much fun. And then I was like, okay, so we're delivering like Friday, and then I had a massive weekend of roller derby amazingness on Saturday and Sunday. And then on Monday, I'm like, all right, you know what? Come on, Muse, I'm ready. Come on, Genius, I'm ready. Come on, like inspiration, hit me. And there was, you know, freaking crickets. And that's just me going, like the conscious me to the intuition me is like, all right, let's set the intention that something really cool is going to happen this week, and, you know, trust that it will. And that's the thing that allows this creativity to flow, right? And then it's about going, all right, what action am I now going to take in order to, you know, make this happen? And so that's how Bold was born. It's how all the programs this year have actually been born. Now, don't be mistaken, everything rolls up into you being visible, right? Everything rolls up into you putting yourself out there, you serving your audience, you making sure that you're marketing, making sure that you're showing up so that you are being visibly bold, or you're boldly being visible and getting out there, but doing things in a way that feels really great for you. Doing things in a way that allows you to embrace or even find actually like the creativity bits in you that you can then enhance and embody in order to reach your audience. So I guess like what I'm thinking about with that is, and this is the stuff that's worked really well for me in terms of marketing over the years and stuff like that, has been that I always think about the people, like I always think about my audience, but I think first of all, it's like, all right, well, you know, what would be fun to do? It's how Sales and Marketing Spy School was created and how that whole theming served me for years. My 8-week marketing training used to be called the Secret Agent Online Training. And for me, like that was just all about, you know, having fun whilst at the same time being really serious and delivering really great training and helping people get really great results. So yeah, that's that. There was some other stuff that I wanted to say about that. If you've got any questions, let me know. Let me know how you're celebrating the 200th coffee run. Are you drinking coffee or are you drinking champagne? It'd be really cool to know. Okay, so some of the other things that I wanted to share. Oh, that's right. So, you know, in this spirit of being bold and being visible, I think it's also really important and something that's worked really, really well for me. I was chatting with Jo, who's an amazing piano teacher this week. I was chatting with her yesterday and I was saying, you know, something that works for me has really been having some structure in place. So, and that's the thing that really allows the creativity to flow. So structure for me allows the space for creativity. It's a little bit like how discipline creates freedom, right? So for me, and what I was talking about with Jo, is like I really love the structure. So when I'm journaling, so the structure for me is around, oh look, now the light works when it gets a little bit darker outside. I got little flyaway hairs happening, it's so funny. So the structure helps me. So what I've taken a look at, and the way that I kind of work this out is I do things one way, and then I'll kind of pendulum all the way around here and try things another way. And I'm like, well, that didn't freaking work very well. And then like to find like that, I sort of like pendulum, like a big clock pendulum, sort of like calibrate in the middle there and pendulum around here. And it's like, right, you know, this is really what works for me in this moment, in this season, in this particular time frame. And that's why, like, I guess when I think about the coffee runs and how we've managed to get to episode number 200, by the way, yay, so excited. The way that we've been able to do that has literally been because for the most part, except for, I think there was a couple of months this year, but for the most part, since I've been doing them, they've either been on at 9 o'clock every morning or 11 o'clock every morning. And knowing that I've got something to show up for, turn up for, it gets my, almost like the unconscious mind, my intuition, if you like, it gets my mind working and thinking before we even get on camera in order to go, oh, okay, you know, what is it that we're going to talk about today? And that's probably, particularly if you're looking at starting out with doing Facebook Lives or any sort of live streams, to start with, have a set time, either on a set day of the week or something like that in order to work towards. And then show up and do it. And I had this conversation with Jo yesterday. I'm like, it doesn't matter if they go for 5 minutes and it doesn't matter if they go for 25 minutes. Like the point of it is to turn your camera on, start being visible, start speaking in that bold way of you showing up for your audience, of you helping, giving hints, tips, advice, talking, jamming, you know, laughing, singing, playing, whatever the heck it is, drinking coffee or champagne, whatever it is that you feel like you need to do. You know, it's not about the length of time to start with. It's about building the discipline of you showing up. And that's probably one of the hugest things that I've learned over the years with anything is lock it in, and then it's almost like the universe conspires to make it all happen, right? It's a little bit like I've got Visible Live booked in for August on the Gold Coast, so the 23rd, 24th and 25th. And Kelly's already coming to that and Charlie's already coming to that. A few of you are already coming to that. And it's like, if I know that that's when that's running, then my mind is already working in the background about thinking about how I'm going to market that, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to deliver it. So set those dates in place of things that you might want to do. It's like booking a holiday, right? When you book a holiday, you don't just in the morning go, most of us don't go in the morning, okay, I'm going to go to Europe today, let's pack the bags and let's go. It's usually something that we've got a date set and planned. You start making your arrangements for that, but we know that it's going to happen, right? It's just going to happen. So with your live streams, book it in and you know that it's going to happen, and then you can start to build your planning around it, and then you just show up like with your bags at the airport, ready to get on that plane, trusting and knowing that everything is going to go exactly the way that it needs to. So build in some structure. Now, what I did test out early this year was still turning up live. I was still here for the coffee runs every day of the week, maybe with a couple of exceptions, but not many. Not Saturdays and Sundays, obviously. So thank you, Tamara. I'm glad that was helpful. Train of thought. Hang on a second. Oh, that's right, what I was testing. So I tested earlier on in the year, just making sure that I was going to show up. Now, for the first part of that, it was fine. And I was like, okay, yes. But then the other thing that I know about me is I am a lot more, I'm fresher in the morning, right? So whether it's 9 or 11, I'm fresher in the morning. More fresh in the morning is probably better English. And if I hadn't done my coffee run by the time I was going to get the kids, so I usually leave the house about 2:45, run to the school, like do all the things, come home, and then a couple of days a week I've got a 4 o'clock call, and then other days of the week I've got other things going on. And it's like my day just like ran away from me, even though I had the intention to show up on those lives. So I actually found that a lot harder to maintain the discipline around. It's like going to the gym. I know what time the class is on and I will go. If I'm left to my own devices to go and just, do weights in the gym, I'm a little less, okay, I'm going. I really like I like deadlines. They just work for me. So I guess where I'm going with this is that you need to find the thing that works for you. But if you're just starting, put the structure in place first and then build that discipline around showing up. And then you can kind of move on from there. All right, and that actually ties into the online programs. It ties in, I'm just checking what else I was going to talk with you about today. That ties in with everything that I've ever done, like ever, since the dawn of time. That's not true. So that was that. Now, something else that I wanted to talk to you about. Okay, so biggest learnings from the last episodes, talk about video blogging. Oh, like video blogging. I think the other thing with that is creating some structure. I talk about this a lot, and I know that some people, and this is the rule, right? The rule, some people have lots of rules. I'm like, how about, hey Sarah, great to see you. I'm like, how about we test the rule, and then if it works for us, we can follow it. And if we don't like it, we can toss it in the bin. So some people will say, in terms of blogging or even live streams, that you just like turn the camera on and just see what kind of comes out of you. And that can work. Other times though, you can be a little bit like, I don't know what to say. And if you've ever had that fear of, and I've had this, of like, oh my gosh, what if the words don't come? Like, what if the inspiration doesn't come and I'm sitting here talking for 2 minutes looking like a complete dickhead? Or like I don't know what I'm talking about when I do know what I'm talking about. It can kind of feed into that fear, and then that kind of becomes a bit more debilitating, and then you're like, okay, I'm just going to suck it up, and then you press play, or you don't press play. We press like go live or record on your video blog. And like the exact thing that you were worried about actually comes true, right? Because that's just how it works. And so, yeah, that's that. I think having some structure in place, being okay, so these are like 3 things that I'm going to talk about, and however long it takes you to go through those things is how long it takes you to go through those things. Yeah, there's no right or wrong with it. Just a little tip with your Facebook live streams, if you are doing them, I would very strongly encourage you to do them and try and get them to being over like 10 minutes or more. Now, the reason for that is that Facebook does tend to do another push out to your fans to say, hey, Sarah, you're the last person that I saw on here. So, hey, Sarah's live, you should come and watch. Tell your friends. Hey, Tamara's live. She's, come and watch and tell all your friends what you're watching. So if you can get past that 10-minute bit and, go from there, then, there's no right or wrong in terms of how long they need to be. And then the other great thing is that they live on your page as videos from now until forever. However that song goes. Clearly we don't need another coffee, but we'll drink it anyway. So yeah, that's what I would certainly do. Have a bit of an idea about what you're going to talk about so you can get past that 10-minute mark, right? And then but at the same time, guys, if you're just starting, don't stress about it. Like just build that discipline, build that muscle, and get out there and be bold about it. So Bold, this amazing new thing that I have, let me chat about that for a little bit because I'm really freaking excited about it in case you didn't know. So Bold, to me, the way that I think of someone who is bold is a person who is confident. They are showing up, they are making claims about whatever it is that they're making claims about, but they can absolutely back it up. They've got the experience, they've got the mastery, even if it's come from employment, right? So you might have just started, or maybe you're still an employee, and maybe you've already got all of this experience underneath your belt and you're branching out into the land of entrepreneurialism. Congratulations and welcome. It's the best ride of your life. If you have been, doing what you've been doing for a while, then that's great as well. And I guess the thing is that the thing that we are looking for are people who are really freaking certain. If you think about, I need to get off my chair. Look at these chairs. Like these chairs, they look fabulous because they're close to invisible, but they're not very comfortable on my bottom. So I'm going to lean against my chair and hopefully it doesn't recline or do something funky. So to me, the people who are bold are people who demonstrate certainty, right? They're like, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, and this is why. It's an energetic thing, like this is why you should listen to me. So that's somebody who is bold. Now, I guess where the trick is and where one of the problems lie is that we've got to get people seeing you, right? So yeah, we've got to be visible and everything else, but the piece that has to come before that is about helping people to see you, helping people to find you. Hey Danny, I'm great, thank you. So one of the things with being bold isn't just about the energy that you bring to your videos. It's also the energy and the imagery and the feeling that you bring in with everything else that you're doing. So think about the photos that you're putting up. Think about I call them picture quotes, those, some people call them memes, the images with something that you've said on them. We want those to be bold and be different. And I guess I've spoken with a few of you over the last little while, particularly over the last couple of weeks, where you have told me that you do not want to put out the same boring ass marketing as what everybody else is. But what happens is that what you've told me, and I've had this happen as well, where it's like, okay, I'm going to do this really great campaign. It's like, okay, you get those creative juices going around the program that you're going to sell, or the training that you're going to deliver, or the workshop you're going to put on, or the book that you're going to write, or whatever it is that you're about to start to launch. But then we go, how am I going to do that? All right, well, I better go build a funnel. I better go do some things. I better go write some copy. And then the copy goes something like, if you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, and if you want to have more energy, then, you know, you get the point, right? What happens is we tend to revert back to the way that perhaps we've always done things. And it's not to say they don't work, but it's also, if we look at the marketplace and if we look at the other players in your industry, everybody is doing the same type of freaking thing, right? And so what we really need to take a look at is, all right, well, how can we do things a little bit different, but do things in a way that is also deeply aligned, or aligned as fuck, as I've actually written on the sales page that you'll see in a minute, that, you know, like, so that it feels really great for you. So, hey, Anna. So one of the things that I was chatting with one of the ladies who's watching at the moment, I won't call you out, was about a program that she wants to create. And she was literally saying this stuff to me, like, I don't want to go and put out the same old boring ass marketing, right? And so the things that we need to have a look at are going, okay, well, what kind of movies do you like? What kind of imagery do you really love? Like, what kinds of home decor do you like? Look outside of your industry. We need to look at outside of what is normally going on for you in order to start to allow some of this kind of like almost, I suppose, you know, creative infusion to come on through. And then we can start to bring in like different fun theming and stuff like that, and this is exactly how Rebel with a Cause was created. It's how the Queen Code was created. It was how Champagne Supernova was created. It was how the Ep Factor was created. All of this stuff came about, and the imagery came about because it was like, oh, you know, how can we, it wasn't even thinking, you know, how can we do things differently? It was more about, you know, what can we do that's really fun, that is perhaps a little bit edgy, and that is different to what's going on out there at the moment. And that's really what Bold's about, so that you're able to find those things for you. Because just because this stuff works for me doesn't mean, you know, in terms of like this badass rock star kind of vibe that I like to sort of get into before I'm doing anything, like the performance type thing is like the world's my stage and you're all my audience, right? You know, that works for me, but it won't necessarily work for you, depending on what you like, what your dislikes are, what you're naturally kind of drawn to and stuff like that. So we want to unearth what that is for you. And then we want to let that percolate, right? Because this is the place that the names of your programs are going to come from. It's the place that the names of your marketing campaigns are going to come from. It's the way that we're going to be able to create your imagery and everything else around it. And then what flows on from there is that all of your copy, all of the copywriting, all of your writing, all of the posts that you put up, all the blogs that you create, that all comes from that real place of, you know, I'm gonna be bold in my delivery of this. I'm gonna be bold in the claims that I'm making. I'm gonna be bold in the way that I'm putting this out there, and kind of like getting that, you know, this is how I'm doing it, don't mess with me type of, you know, feeling and stuff like that. And so, you know, that's what we really want to be able to do. Copywriting. Oh, so what else are we going through? We're going to go through how to launch. So the cool thing about that, well, I think the cool thing about that is that there's no point in you doing things differently. There's no point in you being bold. There is no point in doing any of this stuff, honestly, if you're not actually then going to do something with it. So the idea behind all of this is not just about brand awareness, all right? We're not Coca-Cola. We are not IKEA. We can't afford, well, I can't, maybe you can. I can't afford to put a big ass billboard up on the M1 that says, like all, what was that photo? It was like, is it $80 million spent and not even one seat? Come to IKEA and buy one for $29 or something like that. I thought it was hilarious. Maybe I've remembered that wrong. It sort of like flicked through my feed last night. like we don't have that money to go and spend all of that on a brand awareness campaign. As I said, you know, we're not freaking Coca-Cola. So where I'm going with that is that what we want to be able to do is turn our visibility efforts into money, right? Into clients, into people taking action. Because then, you know, if we're being all bold on the front end, like you've also then got to be bold on the back end, right? You've got to be willing to put your money where your mouth is, yeah? So that's kind of my stance on that. Now, I put a comment in there. Can you let me know if you can see it? Because I've totally just completely lost it. It's just completely gone out of the thing. And I did get a little ranty, so it's gone. I can't see it. I don't understand what's happening. Jess, maybe you can let me know. Anywho, you guys get the point. It's all done. It's all gone. There we go. All right, I found it. I'm going to pop it up in there again because I don't even know what happens. So, I don't know what happened. All right, so Bold is a 14-day immersion on making all of this stuff happen so that you can get out there, so that it is there. Oh, thank you, Gerda. I couldn't see it. I was going to try and pin the comment and it was just doing its weird tech thing. So it's you and me for 14 days and we start on the 7th of June. Now, when you enroll sooner rather than later, the great thing with that is that you're going to get some pre-work. So we're going to start prior to the 7th of June. It's all about unleashing your creative juices, okay? So that you can show up, so you can stand out, so you can be seen, so you can be visible. But like I said, it's all got to come from a place of pure alignment. There are a couple of ways that you can come and hang out. One is as a general entry person and the other is as a VIP. You'll see the things on the page. The link should be there. If it's not, I'll go back and edit it after. Yay for technology not working. That's the way that I wanted it to. It's actually really irritating. So the way that it's going to happen, and the thing that I have thoroughly enjoyed is showing up every day. So we're going to be in a secret private Facebook group every day for 14 days, starting on or before the 7th of June, where I'm going to deliver something to you in order for you to be able to get moving, for you to be able to be bold, get bold, and progress forward on from there. As a VIP person, you've got unlimited Voxer to me. So yay for the Voxers. And what that looks like is that and we've done this a lot with people, it's just so much fun. And I really love playing in there. It's like voice memos back and forth. So you'll be like, Nicola, I've got this. You wouldn't be on the phone like that. It's actually more like that. I don't know why I picked up the phone. You'd be pressing a button on your phone and you'd be like, Nicola, I've just done this thing. You know, this is the thing. It's going to be fantastic. And you know, la, 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 you know, what are your thoughts? And I'll read it and I'll come back and I'm like, yeah, that's really great. Or like, you could just do this and stuff like that. So in the VIP level, we've got that back and forth Voxering, which has proved invaluable for a bunch of people over the last 6 months since I've been doing that. It's a really quick way of you getting your questions answered and stuff like that, and being able to work through any kinds of blockages and things like that come up, particularly like creative blocks, obviously, which is what we're talking about, right? Like it helps to just iron those kinks out like really, really quickly so that you can move forward and then progress. The other thing that I wanted to let you know was I think I've got it for the first 3 people that join in either at the VIP level or at the general level. I am not making it one way or the other. I'm actually going to give you guys a bonus one-on-one session with me that you'll just go ahead and you'll just block it straight into your calendar. You'll get the links upon confirmation and we'll have a one-on-one session together. So for the first 3 people, that is what's going to happen. There will, of course, be pre-work that will occur before the 7th of June because that is now, I think that's 2 weeks from now. So we've got 14 days of amazing upping of the ante. So there'll be all kinds of things that you'll be working on for between now and when we officially start. So the sooner you start, the sooner you get working. And actually, the sooner you're going to start, the more stuff you're going to get through as a result of that. So you and me, baby, let me know your thoughts, questions, anything that's coming up for you. Jess, did that answer that? The how bold works? I can't believe I couldn't find the comment. There it is. I found it. So yeah, we're going through. Oh, that's the other thing I'm going to talk with you about. So hands up those of us who freaking hate or don't love sales. Or we like sales, we like making sales, right? Because that equals money in the bank. But I know a lot of people have trouble selling in the sense that they don't want to spend all day, every day on the phones. I've done that. And some people love it. Some people don't love it. I would suggest that probably 99% of the population does not enjoy spending all day, every day on a phone, dialing people to get in touch with some people, to have an hour-long conversation with someone, to then maybe convert 20% of people. So one of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you guys throughout Bold is the way that we can shortcut that sales process so that it feels really good for you, right? Again, it's about being aligned. So what I want to share with you are some different ways that I've made sales over the years, right from a very structured sales process that follows a script almost to the letter, through to, you remember how I was saying that, like pendulum the other way, like to doing things in almost the completely opposite direction, to then find a really a happy medium for the way that I like to do things. So I'll be sharing with you some really key strategies around that. And if you're someone who does love picking up the phone all day, every day, then that's cool. Let's look at some ways that we can boldly close sales, maybe a bit more efficiently, so that you can talk to more people, right? And then make more sales, because that's what everything's all about. Oh, yeah, that's right. So I'm just reading some of the points. It's so fun, right? So I've got my notebook sitting on the kitchen table over there, and I was sitting, I don't know if you guys can see, just sitting on this chair over here. I don't know. It's got a chaise just over here next to those flowers. And yesterday I had my notebook out and I was like, oh, and I can do this. And then, so I'm writing it down. I'm like, oh, I can help them do this. So one of the cool things that you are going to do, and something that I think is really important, is that I'm going to give you guys, girls, there's got to be some accountability. And I think the big thing that I've noticed through all of the things that I've done over the years is that when we've got accountability, we're more likely to produce. Do you remember earlier where I was talking about having deadlines really work well for me? I know that deadlines work really well for a lot of other people as well. And I know ass kicking, works really well for me. I am somebody who loves to be from key people that I trust. Having my ass kicked. It's like, no, Nicola, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Or, that's great, Nicola, but you haven't been doing this thing, go do that. So there'll be some of that in there. But one of the cool things that I've got mapped out for, I think on, I don't know, maybe partway through the course, I think we're about day 7, day 8, is that you're actually going to get creating. And we're going to do a show and tell. So remember, this is in a private secret Facebook group, so you're all completely safe. What happens in the group stays in the group, it doesn't get put out to the internet. But that way you actually get to test and play with and put into action these new skills that you're going to be learning. You'll be able to get feedback from me, obviously, because that's, why would you do it if you weren't getting that? But you're also going to be able to get some feedback from the other people who are in the room, so to speak, as well. Now, something that I've learned or had reminded to me of being in the room. So I delivered a really powerful 2-day event last month up on the Gold Coast called Champagne Supernova. We were hung out in my penthouse apartment up on the Gold Coast. We did a whole bunch of stuff, but what I actually did is we went through some theory, and then we got to the doing bit. We actually got creating, because unless you're doing something, everything else is just information. And you guys know what it's like. You could be really excited about the latest learning or the latest book that you've read, or hey, Dari, the latest technique that you've learned. But until you actually put it into practice, nothing changes. no results get made, nothing changes. So part of what we're doing in here is not only creating perhaps the idea for the course, the marketing for the launch of it, and then all of the theming that goes around all of that, you're actually going to get the opportunity to be able to share that with the other people who are also being ridiculously bold, getting out there and doing it all as well. So I can't wait for that. That's going to happen, and we've got a few days at the end in order to be able to tweak if we need, or you could go out there and launch it. In fact, I very strongly recommend that you do. So if you've got an idea bubbling in the back of your head around perhaps a course or something, even if it's a free thing that you want to create just to get the ball rolling and to get things started, then this is going to be freaking perfect for you. Gerda, sounds amazing. Thank you. You're in it, of course. Like you're in, like Flynn, baby VIP styles all the way. So that's how that all works. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. If you're unsure whether this is the right thing for you, message me and we'll jam about it, right? This is not for everybody. It is a reasonably, it's not the cheapest program I've ever done. It's sure as shit not the most expensive program I've ever done. But it is going to be certainly the boldest program that I've ever done. And it's going to be a whole bunch of fun. You're going to get in action, which is, you know, the most important thing on the planet, actually, because if you're not in action, then nothing freaking changes, and then, you know, we had fun, but, you know, nothing changes. Oh, look, my watch is telling me to move. I'm pretty sure I'm moving. Watch, thank you for reminding me. All right, everybody, happy Friday. The thing that I really wanted to share with you, most importantly, not most importantly, everything's been really important, but one of the things that I did want to say to you guys today is a huge thank you, actually. There have been some days that I have been, you know what it's like, right? Some days are really great and you're flying high and like no one can touch you, you're freaking invincible. And then there's other days that are just frankly shit, right? And that's not, you know, the good outweighs the bad, like, let's just be really clear. But I guess like the thing that I wanted to say to you, and it feels almost like a little bit like a Grammy speech, is that I'm just so incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. I know that some of you have shown up on the majority of the coffee runs since we very, very first started, and actually long before they even started, and I'm so incredibly grateful and deeply humbled, and you know, thank you. One of the things that has got me through some of those days where things haven't been fabulous has been knowing that I'm able to create, because you've told me that I'm able to create a positive impact on your worlds, in your worlds, on your lives, on your businesses, and therefore, you know, in some way, shape or form, there's been a bit of a ripple created, and I don't take that for granted, and I don't take your attention for granted, and you know, I'm just really incredibly grateful to all of you for allowing me the space to be able to do what I freaking love doing in it. And I think you guys know that. I think you can feel that. So yeah, thank you. Here's to 200 more, right? Welcome to the Coffee Run live. We've got going back on Monday. We're back on Monday, obviously. For the Coffee Run, it will be episode number 201. And then the countdown is on for number 300. And then we've also got Visible Live happening, the awesome show, because you can't spell awesome without me. Hashtag not a singer. And it's the awesome show because you can't spell awesome without me, meaning you. We've got episode number 3 happening on Tuesday. I can't remember what the topic is, but I have got it written down because hashtag structure, and it makes my brain easier. My brain function easier when I've got a bit of an outline of what it is that we're going to talk about. So we'll do that on Tuesday. I look forward to catching some of you in bold so that we can get you out there. We can have you being seen, being visible, changing the world in the way that you want to do it, feeling really freaking great about the way that you're doing it for your audiences, for your families, but most of all, for you. Because if you're not doing this stuff for you, if you're not doing whatever it is that you're doing because it fuels you, because it lights your fire, because it fucking ignites that thing within you, then, you know, I don't know why like anybody does this, because this is not an easy, there are many easier paths that we could undertake, right? Entrepreneurialism is not the safest route to take if you're looking for something that is amazing every day, in my humble opinion. So do it for you. You know, it's got to be done for you first and foremost. It's like getting fit. It's like eating healthy. It's like drinking bulletproof coffee tomorrow. I can't wait to hear how yours went down, actually. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is an acquired taste, right? It is an acquired taste. But most of all, get out there, go help some people, have a whole shit ton of fun doing it. My name is Nicola, and I can't wait to catch you guys all on Monday or on the inside of Bold. You can see the links in there. If you've got any questions about anything, let me know. And have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.